So my wild story is I almost killed a guy on the Great Wall of China. Here we go. Listen, he deserved it. Let me provide some context. Basically I did it because I was trying to get in touch with my Chinese side. It seems to be a recurring theme. I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm mixed race as well. I'm half Irish and half Chinese, but I look like the most problematic white guy. I look like if Justin Long was one of the Try Guys, you know? Like he seems nice, but he probably hooks up with only members of his improv team. And it's like, you know, most of my life, I felt like, you know, am I more white? Am I more Chinese? Like, I truly love mayonnaise, but truly. But on the other hand, I don't get Wes Anderson movies, and that seems to upset a lot of white people. And so I just chose, like, basically I chose being a little white kid. I thought I was a little white kid for the boo. For the longest time because I thought the world of my dad, like he was a white guy. And then it wasn't until college that I found out that he was like a deadbeat dad. Anybody else? Deadbeat white dads? Nice, I'm so sorry. He was of the cheating variety. It's a very Irish Catholic tradition. And listen, I was pissed off at the time, but the older I got, the more I realized that the fun thing about having a cheating dad is that he had kids with all these different kinds of women, and they're just slightly different versions of me. So having a cheating dad is a lot like the multiverse from Marvel movies. Except the details just keep getting lamer and lamer. I'm like, whoa, in Tucson, Arizona, I have blonde hair, I sell commercial real estate, and my favorite rapper is Lil Xan. That kind of sucks, I have no problem making fun of him because he's doing the same thing about me. He's like, there's a Chinese version of me that's a struggling comedian and like ska music. That is the Nightmare Universe. It's not that bad. So I found out he was a deadbeat, right? And I was like, okay, maybe I should get more in touch with my Chinese side, right? And quick, because my grandparents are old and they're gonna die soon. Like, the clock is ticking. The stakes are high in this story. And my college at the time, UC Davis, go Aggies! That's the usual response, thank you. One of these days I'm gonna get like, but so UC Davis was offering this study abroad program to go to Beijing, China, the motherland. And so I signed up and I'm like, great, I'll learn the language, I'll immerse myself in the culture, and I made a promise to myself, like, I'm not gonna go, like, no half measures, I'm gonna go full Chinese, like whatever that means. And so I get there, it's actually surprisingly easy because I actually really love like learning languages. I love learning Chinese, I loved eating Chinese food, and fun fact, the drinking age there is 18, and beer is cheaper than water, so I think I'm gonna like it here. But the thing that like really bothered me was the specific cultural norms. Like people in Beijing, I can't speak for all of China, but people in Beijing have no personal boundaries. And I'm like still such a repressed Irish Catholic that like when people touch me, they hug me and be like, back the fuck up. And one thing that bothered me the most was they were all like close talkers and like this for everyday conversations. And I hated it. I hated it so much. I was just like, this distance is reserved for lovers sharing a secret and not for strangers talking about Kobe Bryant's like ball handling skills, which is a true thing. I'm just like, back off. I remember one time I was just like, I slowly stepped away mid-conversation and without missing a beat, just like an NPC just like tracking me. And so I'm just like, remember, no half measures. I'm gonna go full Chinese. So I like forced myself to like get used to this thing that I wasn't used to. And then like by the end of the program, we take this field trip to the Great Wall. And we're all so excited because we get to hike up it like at dawn and we get to see like the sunrise. It's like awe-inspiring. And what you don't realize is that the Great Wall of China is actually high up on a mountain. It's on a mountain range. And then on top of that, the wall itself is like 3 or 4 stories tall. So it's like really high up. And I have a terrible fear of heights. So the whole time I'm like super nervous, and then on top of that, like there are parts of it where it's super narrow, like it's as wide as a yoga mat. You're welcome, Los Angeles. and I'm like super nervous, and then this like local tour guide like clocks this, and he like comes up to me, starts speaking to me in English, and asks me about like American stuff and baseball, which is like huge because I'm such a fanatic. Like I cried while watching the movie Moneyball, you know, the movie about baseball statistics. I'm a little freak. And so he's like asking me all these questions, like, have you ever seen a home run before? I'm like, and I'm freaked out. He's doing the close talking thing like this. It's super high up, and I'm like, yeah, I've fucking seen a home run. And like, but I'm in my head, I'm just like, okay, you know, go full Chinese, like you can handle this. And after like 15 minutes of him talking to me, I don't know what came over me. I was just like, back the fuck up, and I like move my elbow like this, bump him off, and I see him fall off the ledge. Yeah. And I hear everyone in front of me audibly gasp, and everyone behind me audibly gasp, and I'm just like, okay, this is it. Like, they're gonna behead me in Tiananmen Square. I don't know what's gonna happen. And everyone's like, go, look. And like, I look over the edge, and we see that he's like 1 foot below us on this ledge that's like barely hanging off, and I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Like, he's alive. And then, I don't know what came over me, the next thought was just like, okay, he's probably gonna beat the shit out of me. So I like back up, and like, I've never been in a fight before, but I'm just like ready for one. And he like pops up, and without missing a beat, he runs up next to my face and starts talking about baseball again. Like asked me, have you ever seen a double? Like, yes, motherfucker, I've seen a double. And we start walking, and I'm just like, what just happened? That was so surreal. Like, I'm so lucky, right? And like, the only thing that makes sense is like, I think he gets knocked over the edge all the time by like neurotic Americans who can't handle like big personal bubble spaces. And he's just like, yeah, no worries. Like I like fall, cause he like pounced up. Like he had done this before. So like, long story short, like I finally go, the program ends, I finally go home, and I get so excited, or like sort of excited to tell my grandparents this story. And like I tell it to them, like, isn't this crazy? Like I'm full Chinese now. I did the whole like close talking thing, and they're like, no, we don't fucking do that. It's like there's a reason why we moved to this country. And so I was just like, okay, like I don't get what it means to be Chinese anymore, but I'm happy that I connected with my grandparents. Thanks.